So a client of mine sent me an AI generated design so that I can make for her a crochet version of it. And this is what we are going to learn. So it wasn't the easiest approach, but I had to plan for it to give her the best results that I could come up with. So this is my client Esther, and she was wearing this for her sister's birthday. And I think I got the right look. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know how I did. So I also incorporated the beaded fringe that we also had for our birthday girl who was wearing the maroon set. We already have these tutorials on the channel, and don't forget to check them out. Alright, so for the materials you will need yarn. The yarn that I used is Robin. It's light fingering weight yarn, and I used 2 strands of yarn for the body of the piece. And I needed just about 8 balls total, and that's each ball of this is 300 yards and 50 grams. So I needed 8 balls, and that's because of the fringe that ended up using almost 90% of the yarn. So I'll also need a 3mm crochet hook, darning needle, a pair of scissors, a measuring tape, and then some stitch markers. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops. And let's get into creating this AI generated design. Oh, and by the way, we have the matching top already on the channel as well as the written pattern. Don't forget to check out the description box. So I'm going to get my 2 strands of yarn. I'm going to start with the upper band, which is around the waistline. So I decided to go for the granny stitch because the AI image, to me, it's a stitch that can be generated maybe through macrame, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to use the granny stitch to create that band around the waist. So we're going to start off with a chain of 20. So start with a slip knot and make your chain of 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So this chain of 20 measures approximately 4 inches. And this is going to be the thickness of the band in the waistline. So you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. You're going to count from this one, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, you're going to place a double crochet. And then make a chain of 1, skip the next chain, and into the next, you're going to go in there with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, and 2 double crochets into the next. So you're going to repeat that. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, and 2 double crochets into the next chain. All right, we are almost coming to the end of row 1. Sorry, you have to make a chain after the 2 double crochets, skip 1 chain and 2 double crochets into the next chain, and then chain 1, skip the 2nd last chain, and into the last chain here you're going to place 2 double crochets. Okay, so this is what you should have at the end of row 1. Now we're going on to row 2. For row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1, and then turn your work, and you're going to go into the chain 1 space with 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So you're going to repeat this all the way across row 2. Chain 1, skip the 2 double crochets and go into the chain 1 space with 2 double crochets. Repeat that all the way across until you place 2 double crochets in the last chain 1 space of the previous row. Alright, so I've just placed 2 double crochets in the last chain 1 space of the previous row. Now you're going to make a chain of 1 and then skip the next stitch, and on top of the chain 3 on the edge of the previous row, you're going to go in there with 1 double crochet. And this is what you should have for row 2. Now row 3, you're going to start off with a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. So let's make our chain of 3. Turn your work, and into that very first space you're going to go in there with 1 double crochet. So we shall count it as 2 double crochets into this space, and then you're going to make a chain of 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So you can see how the beginning of row 3 is different from the beginning of row 2. So you're going to continue to chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain 1 space all the way across. Alright, so we're almost coming to the end of the row, and I'm placing 2 double crochets here. And when you come to the end of row 3, you're going to just make a chain of 1 and go into the last chain 4 space with 2 double crochets. Just go into the space with 2 double crochets, and this is what you'll have. Now we're going to just repeat rows 2 and 3 and again, and then I'll meet you back when I have the length that I want for my band, and then we shall go on to the next part of this project. So row 4 is the same as row 2. The even rows look the same and the odd rows look the same. So row 4 starts with a chain of 4, just as we did for row 2, and then go into the chain 1 space with 2 double crochets. Chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So go ahead and keep alternating between rows 2 and 3 until your band can wrap around your waistline without being stretched. And then I'll meet you back and show you what to do next. Alright, so you're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you get the length of your waistline, the circumference of your waistline, without stretching. So as you can see, I have my waistline circumference, and I did a total of 56 rows in order to get that length. Now you're going to fold over your work like this. Alright, so 56 rows, and then you make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Make sure this measures your waistline circumference. So you're going to fold over your work like this, and now we are going to make a small chain, more of a ring, something like this. So for this piece, you can either use a ring, a real ring, or you can create a ring just like I did here. So to do this, alright, so to make this ring, because you're going to make 2 of them, so this is my first one. For the second one, you're going to just hold your yarn like this and rotate it around 1 finger about 5 times or 6 times, and then you can remove your finger, insert your hook and grab the working yarn. So just like that, you're going to make a chain of 1, and we're going to go into this ring that we just created, and you're going to just keep placing single crochet stitches. You're going to make sure that the single crochet stitches are really tight and compact. That's the only way that you're going to achieve that ring effect. Make the stitches as compact as possible until you make it all the way around the coil that you just did around your finger. Alright, so after this you're going to go into the very first single crochet and you're going to place a slip stitch. So this is going to give you this effect, the ring that we want. And then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Alright, so you're going to cut your yarn and leave behind a tail, and just like this we are done. You can go ahead and tie these 2 tails together at the back of the ring. And then you're going to cut off the excess yarn. So this is the ring that we are going to use at this point. So you're going to get small strands of yarn, short strands. I already have a strand here that I can use to attach the ring onto the granny stitch. So I'm going to use this tail and go into one of the stitches, one of the single crochets here, and then pull through, and you can tie a knot to attach the ring to this side. And just like that, you're done attaching, and you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Get the corner of the granny stitch, the upper corner, and then so you're going to skip a few stitches from the point where you've attached this side, and you're going to attach on the opposite side. Get a short strand of yarn and pass it through the corner, just like this, and you're going to make a knot. Alright, so our ring is attached onto the granny stitch. So we are now going to create a very small piece that's going to sit in this space. And to do that, you're going to use a 3mm crochet hook still and make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to go into the very first chain with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Sorry, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So the chain 3 here counts as a double crochet, so that counts as 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And then you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn your work. Into the chain 2 space, you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 stitches, and on top of the chain 3 you're going to place a double crochet, just to balance what we have at the beginning and at the end of the row. Then for the next row you're going to make a chain of 3, which is row 3. Turn your work. Into the chain 1 space you're going to place 2 more double crochets, chain 1. Into the chain 2 space you always place a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. So after this you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the last chain 4 space you're going to go in there with a total of 3 double crochets. So we are done with row 3. Row 4, you're going to start with a chain of 4, turn your work. Into the next chain 1 space you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets, chain 1. This is a chain 2 space, so it receives a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. So basically each chain 2 space gets a shell, and each chain 1 space gets 3 double crochets, and the chain 4 at the beginning of the row counts as a double crochet chain 1. So after this you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the next chain 1 space you're going to place 3 double crochets, and then you end with a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 double crochets, and double crochet on top of the last chain 3 of the row. So you can see how our work is spreading out. This is the tip and we are working it downwards. It's spreading outwards. So we are basically repeating rows 3 and 4. So row 5 will resemble row 3. So you start off with a chain of 3, turn your work. Into the chain 1 space you're going to place 2 double crochets. So this counts as 3 double crochets because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, a shell into the chain 2 space, so 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Chain 1, into the chain 1 space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and into the last chain 4 space you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets, and this marks the end of this piece. This is the piece that's going to go into the center of our piece here. We are going to sew it onto this middle section, that opening that we have here. So I'm going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn, leaving behind a tail to attach with when it comes to the joining of the pieces together. So I'm going to use this strand of yarn that I've left behind, and I'm going to attach this side to here, and then I attach this base and then this side to this side. So what we are going to do, we are going to attach each row of this piece onto the spot where we have these stitches. So we have 5 groups of 2 double crochets here before this one that attaches onto the ring, and then we also have 5 rows of the middle section. So I'm going to attach this row to this very first group of 2 double crochets. just like that, and then go into the next row and attach it onto the chain that received the next group of 2 double crochets on the granny stitch, and then onto the next row. I'm just attaching with 2 stitches, just using a whip stitch, and then onto the next row. So you can see how it's blending in so well. So onto the last row, we're attaching onto the 5th group of 2 double crochets on the granny stitch, and just like that we are done. And we are going to attach this section. I'm going to go into this last row 2 more times just to move onto the midsection where we started this middle point, the middle piece from. So you're going to go into that point and find the midsection of the ring, and you're going to attach it 2 times, just like that. So this is what we have on this side. We're going to mirror the same exact thing on the opposite side. So into this very last row, I'm going to go in there with 2 stitches first, and then I'm going to attach it to the groups of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the groups of 2 double crochets on this side. Find the best way possible to attach these pieces together. Alright, so I'm attaching the very last row of the middle piece onto the base of the granny stitch, and I'll attach the corners together as well. So this is what we have basically. Now you're going to go ahead and repeat the same exact process that we did for the ring. Remember how we did this ring? You're going to repeat the same exact process, and this time around, after making a chain of 1, you pull through and leave behind a tail, and you're going to attach that tail. Actually, after tying it at the back, first secure it, and then you can cut off the shorter strand. Then you're going to get a darning needle and bring that strand to the edge. I'm just passing it through one of the stitches of the ring, and I'm going to attach it to the lower section of that little middle piece that we just did, because this part also has to have a ring. So we have a ring here and a ring at the base. Find the best way possible to secure your yarn, also making sure that it can't fall apart. Alright, so this is what we have right now. We are done with the basic structure of the waist area of our piece. You can go ahead and weave in these tails so that you have a clean piece before we go on to the next part, which is to attach fringes, and then we shall do the rest of the details later on. Alright, once this is done, we're going to go onto the the fringe that's supposed to sit along the lower part of this piece, along this part all the way behind and all the way back to the front. And for this fringe, I decided to make a chain with beads in between, as you'll see later on. So you're going to grab your 3mm crochet hook, the one that we were using while creating this piece, and you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to make a chain 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. So we have our 30 chains here. You can make as many chains as you wish in between the beads. Now these are the beads that I'll be using for the fringe. I have some here already, and you're going to get a hook that can go through the space in the middle of the bead. As you can see here, we have a 2mm. It's the one that can go through here. So once you get the number of chains that you want, you're going to get your bead and put through the smaller hook, and then pull through this loop, and then make a chain of 1. Then you can go back to your original hook. And then you're going to make your desired number of chains in between again. For me, I have 30. I remove the bigger hook, insert the smaller hook into the bead, pull through, chain 1, remove your hook, and continue chaining. So you can see how the beads are part of the fringe. You're going to make a chain that is double the length. For example, you're going to take a measurement from this point until your feet, because this is going to rest on your waistline. So from this point of your body, if you try on this piece, from this point all the way to your feet, if that's where you want your fringe to stop, and then you're going to multiply it by 2. That length by 2, and that's the chain that you're going to make, so that when we are attaching the fringe, we are going to fold it into half and start attaching on every single row or every other point at the base of the piece. I hope that's clear. Okay, so keep working until you get your desired length. All right, so once you're done with your chain, it's going to look something like this. Now you're going to fold it into half. For me, I have about 350 chains. So you're going to fold it into half, and then you're going to attach it at the base of what we just created. So insert your hook at the back of your work and attach. This is going to be a bit hard because there are beads involved. I'll try your best to put through the fringe. Just like that, you're going to fasten. This will be the very first fringe of our piece. So you're going to go all the way around the base of your piece, and you're going to attach the fringes. If you feel like this is still a bit if you feel like the fringe is a bit small and you want it to be more compact, you can go in here with maybe 2 fringes at some point, and then 1 fringe in the next, 2 fringes in the next, and then 1 fringe in the next. So you're going to go all the way around. This is going to be the most hectic part of the project, but it's all worth it. Go through the process. And all right guys, as you can see, we start with 1 fringe and then it grows into 5 until you make it all the way around the skirt. You can see how the beaded fringe looks like up close. And yeah, this is me trying to add fringes all the way around the base of the skirt. And we shall talk about the upper chain later on, but for now, this is what we have. I managed to go all the way around the skirt so that I can have this effect. And then for the chain around the waistline, I just made a very long chain, and then I passed it at the front of the skirt and then weaved it into the top of the waistband that we already did. That's going to help us hold the skirt up so that it doesn't drop. And then also you can decide to add some beads just like I did. This is going to also kind of match with the theme of the beaded fringe at the base of the skirt to make it more pretty. So this is what you're going to have at first, and then to further accessorize our skirt, you're going to make long chains and then also add beads. You see the side chains on the sides of the skirt, you can also add that, but that is totally optional. You can do away with it, but it really adds a lot of movement to this skirt to just embody the inspirational photo or the inspirational video that my client sent to me. And so I ended up bringing an AI generated design to life in crochet. Let me know how I did, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.